What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining myself today, and we've got Oregon Pacifist here on the channel. Say hi, what's up?
What's up, guys? How's it going? I am live with Magnus.
And we were planning this stream to be live yesterday, but unfortunately, we had some technical issues, and we connected on yesterday because yesterday was a special day. It was the first full date of the announced release for Shenmue 3. So there were other Shenmue release periods or windows, like December 2017 and then sometime in 2018. But then you got the final date of August 27th, 2019, which was awesome before the original delay. So
Well, you
welcome.
know,
Thanks for
that's the
joining me.
one thing that is consistent with video games is delays, especially when it comes to Kickstarter projects. Like you expect it to be delayed at some point.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, this is no surprise. So thank you for joining Suka Pass. Hey, what's going on? And to that, I'd like to give a special mention and to start things off in that Suka Pass was actually released on Android. And did you ever see it on iOS?
Yes, it is available on iOS, but the problem was I was a dummy and I didn't read the actual instructions. So you don't get it on iOS through the normal procedure. You don't go to the App Store and search for Suka Pass, which is exactly what I did. You have to download the Test Flight app first, which
Got
is
it.
free. Then you
Okay.
go to the Suka Pass website and you tap on the iOS version link, and then it takes you to the Test Flight. Then it downloads the app. So it's a little bit different, but it is totally available and ready to go, and it's perfect.
Awesome, awesome. So there you have it. The app is released as of 27th, and I checked yesterday, and I checked today. I haven't checked in the last few minutes, but it is 5 stars in the Android Play Store, which was awesome. I'm like, I've never really seen too many applications that get 5 stars after 41 reviews was last I checked. It might have more reviews out there, but last I checked, it's doing amazing. So if you want to get Suka Pass, go ahead and check it
Suka
out. It's already
Pass.
released. There it is. There it is. I've
Running on
got my
iOS,
version
no
too.
less.
All right, so moving on, let's get things started. Welcome everybody, Thorsten. Nice to have you here as usual. But let's start with you. Let's start with your channel. So today we're welcoming Oregon Pacifist. He's a huge Shenmue fan, and his channel is growing, and I believe it's already hit 700 subscribers. Is that true?
That's true. Today we passed the threshold, 700. Trying to get as much as I can, but yeah, 700 is the milestone as of right now.
So, congrats to you on that. Now, one of the things that we obviously know about you, because you're on this channel, you're a huge Shenmue fan. But on your channel, you also features Trials Rising on your channel, and that's a lot of videos. Can you explain a little bit more about what that is and what your channel's about?
Well, there's a lot of people that are just unfamiliar with Trials. They think, oh, it's just some, indie game where you ride a motorcycle, which in part is true. The game actually started out as an indie title. Red Lynx actually developed it, and it's basically like a physics-based. The best way I can describe it is like a physics-based motorcycle game where you're trying to get to the finish without faulting as many times as possible. Like try to get through it without making mistakes and getting good times. And it's a very, very addictive. Like the very first time I played it was in Trials HD on the Xbox 360, and from there I was totally hooked. I love it. Plus the fact that you can build your own tracks and upload it for other people to play, and it's just like there's this huge community of people that just love the game. So I love it. I feel right at home, and I get to have an outlet for my creativity. So I just love it, and it's just one of my top games. Along there with it's up there with Shenmue and a bunch of others, but yeah, definitely Trials is one of my staples.
That's awesome. Now, speaking of Shenmue, how does Shenmue come into play on not only your channel but how you really discovered the game and
Yeah,
fell for
well,
it?
man, the first time because whenever whenever we were kids, whenever we were growing up, we didn't have YouTube. You couldn't go to a gaming website and see, reviewers talking about a game or see footage and all that. You had to rely on like Electronic Gaming Monthly magazines and like going through the articles. I'm like, okay, well, this game looks really good. And you read other people's impressions from like game shows and stuff like that, but you never actually get to experience the game until you play it for yourself. And that was kind of the turning point for me. I'd always had my interest. I'm like looking at this game and I'm like, this game looks really cool, but what is it actually about? Like, what is this game? Like, I want to know more. I must know more. It's kind of like Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more? So that was me. And I was like, I got to know more. So I didn't actually buy the game when it first launched because I was like, I still didn't know what this game was. So I actually went to a what was it? It wasn't GameStop. Back then it was a different company. Electronics Boutique. Was that it?
Yeah,
I think that was it.
That was one of the companies that acquired.
Yeah. Back in the day. So I went there and they actually had a Shenmue kiosk set up. Well, it was a Dreamcast kiosk, but they had Shenmue in there. And I was walking around and I was like, man, this is so bizarre. I can like go anywhere I want to. I can talk to people. Like I can examine every single item in the game. Like it was almost overwhelming. Like what do I do with all this stuff? So, but I knew that I was playing the future. Like the future of video games was going to be based on what I was currently playing. Right. That's the impression I got from Shenmue.
Awesome. Now, in that similar respect, I first discovered Shenmue. Actually, it was a relative of mine was telling me, "Oh, this game's going to be awesome on Sega's new console, Dreamcast. You got to check it out. It's like its whole world that you can live in." So it caught my interest, and this was way back in like the early days of the internet, where you were able to like somehow stream like online video, very crude streaming, but still possible. Yeah. And I saw some gameplay cuts of Shenmue, or what the idea was, and a bunch of articles written talking about how it's so expansive and you can basically, like you said, do anything. And I knew I was hooked. I wanted this game, but then Dreamcast launched and Shenmue didn't launch right away. You had to wait in North America for a little while before you could actually pick it up. I got it launch day. I picked up my copy launch day and played and stopped. I don't know if you had a similar experience, but the intro cutscene is amazing. It really pulls you into the story. But none of the advertising that I saw at the time advertised the story as much as it advertised the experience. So when it was actually heavily story driven, I was taken aback, didn't know how to react. Thought it was cool, like those first cutscenes. But then it was an experience of when I first walked out of Rio's house. And the music is very depressing. Because of the story and the situation, your father just was murdered and you're trying to investigate what happened. But it just kind of drags you in, pulls you in, but almost dragged me in because I'm like, I don't want to be depressed.
Exactly. Now, I was just like, I immediately filled the shoes of Ryo Hazuki at that moment because like, I'm going to get this dude. He's going to pay, like for real. Like I was in it to win it. And the moment that I played through the game initially, like I knew it was going to be almost too ambitious. Like I was kind of scared, like, am I going to be able to finish this saga? Like, because I knew the Dreamcast was I knew it was popular, but I knew it was kind of going downhill in terms of sales and overall popularity. And I was like, this is such an epic game and it already has such an intriguing story. I have to finish it. And I knew, like, from the moment I started playing it, that it was so ambitious that I was kind of scared. Like, maybe this is a little bit too ambitious. Are they going to be able to finish this, actually? And here we are, 18 years later, finally.
18 years later.
It's nuts, man. Crazy.
That is crazy. So another opinion that I wanted to get from you is, first of all, did you ever pick up a copy of the Dreamcast version of Shenmue? Like, for example, importing either the Japanese or PAL version?
Oh, you mean Shenmue 2?
Shenmue 2, yes.
Shenmue 2, I had a friend. Let's just say I had a friend, and he knew how to get games onto regular CDs and put them in the Dreamcast. So I wouldn't say I imported it, nor would I say I purchased it.
Got it.
So, but I did purchase it later when it came out for the Xbox. I bought a legitimate version, so don't hate me. And also, I bought it again for the HD re-release on the Xbox One, and I bought it again on Steam. So I bought the game 3 times. Okay.
Got it. By the way, what's up to James Reener? He just joined the chat room as well.
Hey guys.
James, we're using actually his video in the background. He actually edited a great Shenmue 3 video that actually shows like the loading screens in between different sections of the gameplay that was featured previously that shows you all the different games that you can play. So loading screens is something that's pretty connected to Shenmue 3. Now,
Shenmue loading screens.
Well, Shenmue 2 and 1 actually, but Shenmue 3, it would be nice to see them. But you heard something recently regarding
Yes,
that?
I did. Yes, sir. Apparently, there are no loading screens in Shenmue 3. They are a thing of the past. This isn't 1999 anymore. We are in the 2020s almost. But yeah, no loading screens whatsoever in Shenmue 3. Whenever you transition from one area to the next or from outside to interior of a shop, the music will shift, like it will get the fade from the outside music to the shop music, but there will be no loading screen. It'll be totally seamless, smooth transition.
So how do you feel about that?
I love it. I don't know. I'm always looking forward to the future. Like some people like to keep things as they were. Like I want the Dreamcast engine. I want it to be slow loading. I want it to be this, that. And it's like, why? We have the technology. We can make it bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
So let's make it bigger, faster, and stronger. It doesn't have to be the same just because it's Shenmue. It can still be Shenmue, but with all the modern improvements, and that's what I'm all for.
Yeah, I mean, to that respect, from a nostalgic purpose, all of us classic Shenmue fans that played the original games way back when, or picked up the HD re-releases, we could kind of connect with that. But if you want this game to be successful, not that you can't have loading screens, but loading screens on a powerful machine that doesn't really need them serve no purpose, or serve less of a purpose besides nostalgia. So why keep it if not necessary?
And I'm sure somebody's going to mod the PC version, like, we're going to put the loading screens back in there for you guys. And like the 6 people that are like, yeah, finally.
So that's great. Now, I want to kind of side dip into a different topic. Now, we've got Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2. We played them. We're classic fans. I actually did pick up I have it here next to an original PlayStation Jam Pack CD. But I have the original PAL version of Shenmue 2. And then, of course, my original day one purchase of Shenmue. Constantly with me because they were awesome and they mean a lot to me. But moving on to Shenmue 3, which is what we're all here for. And I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this game was supposed to be out by now. What was your original reaction to this delay from August, where we were counting down to August, to now it being delayed to November?
We are now down to the last 90 days once again. So I don't know. The delay came as kind of a little bit of a shock to me, like, because that was the first time they had set a concrete date. They said August 27th, 2019. It's going to be there. That's the launch date. Everything's solid. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. I'm going to make some plans right now. And then that day, I'm like, I marked my calendar. Like, I was like ready, man. And of course, they delayed it. And I'm like, that's a bummer. But I mean, it's been so long since part 2. It's like if they have to push it out another 3 months, I'm not going to be like up in arms and like storming the castle with a pitchfork or anything like that. I'm just like, okay, well, do what you got to do. Just please make the game good. That's all I ask. I don't really care when it comes out, as long as it's good when it does come out.
Right. So basically, your opinion is delay it, but work on it while it's being delayed. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I can honestly say I was disappointed because I had put so much energy into that release date, and then when it was delayed, disappointed that we're not getting it, but happy that it happened. A little background to that is in the original announcements, in the Kickstarter announcement back in 2015, there was and you go to Kickstarter, you saw that the original launch date was December 2017. To me, I was concerned because I'm like, what is that going to be, like a year and a half of development or less, because you got to get everyone together and then do it. I was hoping and praying for a delay. Then it was delayed a few times in 2018, and I was still praying because, quite honestly, games, especially of this generation, with the advanced hardware that developers have to work with, they need more time. So
Exactly.
when it was
And
go ahead.
I was going to throw in there, your video is frozen, so we're looking at a very nice picture of you. Don't get me wrong, but we can't see you in motion.
Darn. All right. I'm
You
gonna
know,
I'm gonna
the tech
kick
is-
stop and start it, and then I should be able to be up right now. Don't anyone go anywhere. This stream will literally be a split second. Hang on.
Yeah, no, it's lame.
All right. I think you disappeared.
Yeah. I have
There
finished.
you are.
Oh, here we go. We're back. Are we good? Testing.
Testing. We should be back.
All right.
Sorry about that.
So no, well, it is what it is. Technology works when it feels like it, and
Yeah.
working as tech support for a decade, it's just like, no, that should work. I don't know why it's not working. So I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll continue. Where were we?
We were talking about Shenmue 3 and what would have changed if it had released on the original date, or I guess what our thoughts were on the delay originally. And you were talking about the original release date of 2017.
Right.
And my thoughts were exactly the same, 100% exactly the same as yours. Like as soon as the Kickstarter was live, they're like, okay, we have the tentative release window of December 2017. I was like, there's no way they're going to make that. And if they do make it, the game's going to be awful. It's going to be so terrible. So I was like, please delay this game. Please, God, please. And they did several times. So I guess that worked out.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that, for example, if the game would have been released in 2017, I think that we would have been playing a mainly story-driven game that's very bare.
Mm-hmm.
That you talk to the characters you need to talk to, the story progresses, you get the fight scenes or the training that you actually need, maybe one or two side games, but real direct, real streamlined. That's how, if it was going to come out, that's how I expected it to come out. I never believed it was going to be December 2017, but if it was, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
By 2018, by 2019, August 2019, right now, I think it would have been almost as full as what you see, but with a little bit more kinks. Maybe they probably would have had to do more testing. But the fact that it's delayed to November, I think, at least as a fan, I'm expecting to give me a complete game. Especially after all the controversy, which I don't want to mention. It's got to be worth it.
Controversy? What are you talking about? There's no controversy.
No
3 is coming
controversy.
out. Shenmue 3 is coming out. There's no controversy. The end.
Exactly. So if it had been released yesterday, where would you be right now? What would you be doing?
Well, I think everyone knows the answer to that. Probably the same. I would be playing Shenmue until my eyes bled. My wife would be yelling at me, like, why are you still playing that game? You've been playing for 6.5 hours. And I'm like, I got to get to the next place. I got to talk to this dude. So that's what I'd be doing. And actually, my plans haven't changed. When it comes, whether it launched on the 27th or it launches on November 19th, same exact plan, just a different date. I'm taking off work. I'm getting everything set. I'm getting everything perfect. I am going to be recording the first hour or two of gameplay for my channel, just so I can get my legitimate first reactions to playing the full game. And after that, I'm going to play it solo. I'm not going to record the rest of my gameplay, but just the first initial experience.
Right.
And I know a lot of people that will do one of two things. Either they're going to fly through the game as quickly as humanly possible so they can do a review, or so they can just see what happens in the story. That's a lot of people are going to do that. Second group of people are going to go through the game super slow, take several days to get to the next objective, which I'm going to do something in the middle where I want to somewhat take my time. I'm going to go directly to the objective, but I'm going to kind of go off the beaten path every so often. Like, okay, this looks interesting. On my way to see this guy, I have to go over here and buy this thing from the shop. So I'm gonna kind of keep it in the middle to where I'm not rushing it, but I'm not taking super long. That's my plan.
Amazing. I think that's a smart strategy to actually play the game at a moderate pace, not immerse yourself too much if you want to get through it, but also not not speed running.
Right.
Now, talking about that, this is a problem that I have with any modern game that comes out, or even any movie that I would see. The moment that it's released, you're going to have review channels talking about Shenmue. You're going to have live streams of Shenmue 3 everywhere. You're going to have spoilers everywhere. And I find myself sometimes wanting to speed run through the game to avoid online any online interaction completely because I don't want the game spoiled.
That's a good point.
How do you plan on addressing that issue as you're playing through the game at a moderate speed?
I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode and I'm gonna go into a cave. It may be a stone pit where they mine river stone. Maybe, I don't know. That's my plan. I'm literally gonna just not go to social media. I'm turning off my notifications. Like I don't want nothing. I will be dead to the world for about a week or who knows. But that's my goal anyway.
Right.
Aside from people in my physical life, like there'll be no communication to unless the someone that I'm talking to just doesn't play Shenmue. Then I'm like, hey, what's up? But yeah, anything related to Shenmue, it's radio silence. I'm just gonna go completely dark until I've finished it, and then I'm gonna come back and give my whole thoughts on it. Like I don't want to rush through it just so I can like do a review. I want to play it like legitimately and honestly. But it's gonna be hard to avoid spoilers, and everyone's like, "Oh, dude, did you see what happened after so and so did this?" I don't want it. I don't want that. If I see that, I'm gonna be very upset.
Now, I have to admit that I'm the type of person that when a game comes out that I'm excited about, I love to see other people's reactions and other people talk about it and just kind of immerse myself in the experience. So, to that, I almost find myself wanting to rush and play Shenmue 3 as fast as possible. I shouldn't, but I almost find myself wanting to do that because I want to see everyone else's reaction. I want to see what different news articles or news sites or YouTube channels that are dedicated to gaming, what they have to say about it from a review perspective, and then see if I agree or disagree with it. Now I'm going to do my own review of the game too, so that's another reason why I want to kind of run through it. But I want to put out two reviews, a quick review and then a long-term review. And that's after I've immersed myself in the game. But to that respect, have you seen any articles on Shenmue 3 from different gaming sites or YouTube channels that have played the trial version and what their comments or what they had to say about the game? And what do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read some of them because you can tell like who the real Shenmue fans are versus the people that are just paid to be there and like, oh, okay, I guess I'll play this game and write up a little thing about it.
Right.
So I don't know. I take them all with a grain of salt, though. The only ones that I really pay attention to are the people that are extremely familiar with the old games, because then they have a point of reference. Like, okay, yeah, in this game, this is how it's different from the previous games. Whereas if you have someone who's like got kind of a crash course on what Shenmue is and then tries to play part 3, it says, oh, okay, well, the graphics look pretty good, or this looks like this. I guess my main concern, and that seems to be the main concern for a lot of people, is the combat. Where it feels off, like maybe the button commands don't execute the way that they're supposed to. But the problem is we don't have the full game, so we don't know if it's supposed to be like that until you go through the training. So maybe that's done by design. One of the things that Yu Suzuki mentioned in a recent interview is that one of the things that they're working on tweaking between now and the release date is like collision detection and like the smoothness of the combat. So.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see some major changes between now and then because it sounds like they have the game pretty much done. And at this point, they're just debugging and kind of tweaking some things. And they can do a lot of things in 2.5 months when it comes to just tweaking the combat. It doesn't take like a whole overhaul of the whole system. They just have to make the elements that are supposed to work really well.
Right.
And I think they can do that.
So speaking of the gameplay elements and specifically the fighting engine, as you know, Yu Suzuki steered away from the Virtual Fighter engine, and I would imagine because that's also owned by Sega, and they probably didn't license him any of that work. So he's kind of doing his own thing. From that respect, what do you think about the fact that they didn't incorporate any throw moves into the game?
I'm glad you asked me that. So here are my thoughts, because I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
So the Virtua Fighter engine is really, really good. It works really, really well when you have 1 versus 1, because that's what it was designed for. Virtua Fighter is 1 versus 1.
Right.
When you have the 70-man battle, that's when things start to fall apart a little bit. And even back then, in the original Dreamcast days, when I was first playing it, I'm like, man, this feels clunky. Like when I'm fighting multiple opponents, like sometimes I'll throw a kick, but it'll hit like 2 guys, which I guess is cool, but it's kind of silly because sometimes I'll be like fighting a guy and there's a guy like approaching me and I'm like, I want to hit that guy, but I can't hit that guy because my Rio's facing this way. And this guy comes and hits me over the head because I'm facing the wrong direction. And like, I can't change my position. It's like Rio automatically faces whoever's closest to him. And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want somebody else. So I'm actually glad, in a way, I love Virtua Fighter. I love like the one-on-one combat with Shenmue. But when it comes to multiple opponents, I definitely think that there needs to be a different system or a more revamped system. So it looks like Shenmue 3 is going to handle that in a much better way when it comes to fighting multiple opponents. When it comes to the throw moves, again, I am okay with it. I think having a dedicated throw button, I think it's kind of silly. That's just my opinion, and some people are probably going to hate me for that. But I mean, in a real fight, I mean, if you have like 2 guys, I mean, you're going to start off with maybe some shoving, maybe some punching or kicking or whatever, but you're not just going to.
But these are trained martial artists. That's part of their moveset. Come on, man.
I don't know. I think throw moves can be incorporated if done right. Like I think having a dedicated throw button is kind of, in my opinion, kind of silly because it also slows down the pace of the fight. So if you have a bunch of punches and kicks and they're throwing punches and kicks, it seems like it's going to be more fast paced. I think throw moves would work if it was incorporated as some sort of a counter, like you catch one of their punches and throw them off like a judo move or something like that. I think that would work more efficiently and actually look way cooler than just a dedicated throw button. That's just my opinion. I'm not sad that throw moves are gone. It's just I didn't care for them in the first place.
Really? So then
when I play through Shenmue 1 and 2, I just run around like an idiot and kick people.
So what's your go-to move for Shenmue when it comes to the fighting engine?
I want to say tornado kick, but I'd be lying because that move is garbage. Okay, it looks really cool, but it's like I've never in any of the times that I played Shenmue never landed that hit. Like I'll hit them with the first one, but then the second one they block it and then just like punish me. Or I'll just totally whiff or something. Like I never get that move to work. My go-to move, is probably the running kick. Like when you're running and you do the little spin kick.
Right.
I've just annihilated everybody with that. Like that's my first move. And if it fails, it's like okay, that knocked me on my ass. I'm gonna go and try something else. Like in the 70-man battle, I'll try that move and then I'll like get back up and like run away to get my health back and then run back and try to do the kick again. It's just hilarious. It's watching me play is kind of hilarious because I'm just like a spaz. But it's fun.
That must be a sight to see. My actual throw move, not throw move, but my actual go-to move, which I think a lot of people might have that in common, is the elbow assault. To me, that's just boom, 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 done. Knocks him out pretty quickly. It seems that Samian says Crawl Cyclone is super effective. And Samian also said punch block should be the de facto grab like Virtua Fighter. Interesting. So, and also when it comes to throw moves, I actually have one favorite throw move. I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like when you grab their arm and then put your arm over across their chest, and then you just sweep them almost like you trip their legs and just go down on them. I forget what that move is called, but it's actually pretty cool. It's like forward grab.
What you're talking about. Yeah, it's like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can see it in my head, but it's like, what is the actual real name of that throw? It's just the throw move that everyone uses. It doesn't have a really cool name like Demon Drop. Like that sounds cool.
Yeah,
like I can remember that because it sounds really cool. This was probably just called. I was trying to think of something silly, but then I would remember it because it was silly. like donut toss. Remember that epic move, donut toss? That was taught by Master Chen.
So, when it comes to the fighting engine, it looks like you're pretty okay with the way it is looking, but we'll of course have to wait and see when the demo is released. Now, for those that don't know, I'm going to live stream the 1 hour gameplay of the demo that original Kickstarter backers are given if you actually paid enough in the tier, and then you can play the demo. It's a PC exclusive demo on Epic Games, and then I'm going to launch it, I'm going to play it, I'm going to live stream it. I only got an hour of gameplay. Now, this hour of gameplay, I'm assuming, because I've seen what they have on the Kickstarter page and what they've announced via email to all Kickstarter backers, is that you'll get to, if you can finish it, and you can probably finish it within an hour, you can go back and play a little side quest and whatever, but you have an hour of gameplay. And once that hour is done, that's it. You can't play anymore. That's my assumption, and that's the way it sounds.
It sounds to me, I think they offered some clarification on that, where you can go and replay it as many times as you want, but it's 1 hour, which is like one full day in Shenmue. And then, of course, once that day is done, you don't continue the day. It just resets, and you can do different things in that same day.
Okay, so it's just so you can play a full day, and if it's done, it just restarts.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually I didn't know.
It's a day in Shenmue, supposedly.
Okay. That's really interesting, because I don't know if you've ever played or played Resident Evil series, but
I played 1 through, or I should say 0 through 7.
Okay.
I didn't. Well, I didn't. I skipped them. I skipped some in the middle. But yeah, 7 is the bomb. I love 7. I'm like in the minority there. Some people hate it with a passion. There's no zombies. I love 7. But please continue.
No, actually, I thought 7 was amazing. I have the whole VR set up for 7, and I play it that way. It's nuts.
It's too scary.
That's why I love the thrill of that. But when Resident Evil 2, the remake, was launched, they gave you pretty much a short window of time that you can play the demo, and you just had to run through the demo as fast as possible. But you only had that limited amount of time, and then after you had that, I think it was called like the one-shot demo, but after that you couldn't play anymore until the game was launched. So I had pictured that in my mind when it came to the Shenmue demo, but it sounds like we can play more than an hour, but we're just getting a day in Shenmue, which is
exactly. Yeah,
that's a relief to hear.
That's what it sounds like. I remember reading that and thought that was really cool. They're very generous, so you can go back and literally do every single thing there is to do in that little spot they give you, which is cool. I mean, it's not just like you have to do this and then it's over. It's like you have some options there, which is really cool.
Sounds good. And to that respect, because I'm very excited about that, and I want to share that excitement. My initial reaction, like I said, I want to share it with everybody, so I'm going to live stream it as soon as I get it. Not the moment it's out. I'm going to schedule a time and then make sure everyone can join me for that initial reaction of the Shenmue demo. Now, what is your gut feeling on Shenmue 4's chances based off of everything that we've got so far?
I'm not even going to contest it. 100%. It's going to happen.
100%.
I'm like the most optimistic Shenmue fan, and I'm not just being optimistic because it feels good. I definitely think Shenmue 4 will happen, because I mean there's so much going against it, or there was so much going against it before Shenmue 3 was announced. Sega was like, no, this is not going to work. That's why they didn't fund it. That's why Yu Suzuki had to go to Kickstarter. But the fact that Kickstarter basically broke because of Shenmue, we broke the servers, like that's never happened. Like, come on. And then there's a lot of haters out there, but I feel that most people hating on the game because of like Epic Games or the graphics or whatever it is they feel like complaining about that day are in the minority. And most people are either huge hardcore Shenmue fans that are going to love the game and buy it multiple times and play through it a lot and spread good word about it. And then there's people that are on the sidelines like, this game looks pretty good. I heard, some people talking trash about it, so let me go check it out. Oh, it's actually pretty fun.
Right.
So, it's a lot more available nowadays. It's going to be launching on 2 systems, 2 platforms simultaneously instead of being only on like Xbox or only on Dreamcast. It's going to be available for 2 very popular platforms, PS4 and PC, and it's going to be readily available to a lot more people because you can download the game. You don't even have to leave your house. Like, hey, I'm gonna buy Shenmue 3. I'm gonna sit on my butt until it's ready to play.
Right.
And it's like, that's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time period. I can
Plus,
tell you
plus
that.
they can use the same assets for Shenmue 4 as they did with Shenmue 3. They can just continue.
Right. So, I mean, good. Shenmue 4, we're already counting that down, and let's start maybe a Twitter where every 4th day we're pushing for Shenmue.
Give me 1 second. You can continue. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, so he's definitely got a family to attend to. I've been doing this stream too long, but I'm going to open this up to you guys if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, or if you want to ask Oregon Pacifist, we'll take them. I'm going to look at the chats right now. Let's see. Suka Pass, I've already got it pre-ordered around 8 times. Definitely. I've got the PS4 version through the Kickstarter, but I'm actually going to order the game and pre-order the game for Epic Games on the PC because I want to keep playing it. So, Dion Ingo says getting both on PC and PS4. That's great. 413C, despite being a pacifist, he's actually an optimist. That's definitely a true statement after hearing his words on the fact that Shenmue 4 is going to come out. What's the year? Call it. What's the year Shenmue 4 is going to come out? Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you now. Please start over.
What's the year that Shenmue 4 is going to come out?
Shenmue 4. Okay, I'm gonna consult my crystal ball here. Hang on. Let's see. Shenmue 4 will launch on April 3rd, 2021. Okay? Mark the days.
April 3rd, 2021. You heard it here first. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So
here's what's gonna happen too. I'm gonna be specific. So
okay.
I tweeted out about it too because I feel very strongly that this is gonna happen. It sounds crazy, but I feel it in my bones. So this is how it's gonna work.
Here we go.
So Shenmue 3 will be successful enough to show Sega that the series is still going to be profitable. It still has the ability to be profitable. So they're going to say, okay, well, we already have a good team that already rebuilt all the Shenmue assets from scratch using Unreal Engine 4. They know what they're doing. They understand the story. So they're just going to basically publish the game, but they're going to keep the same team that developed Shenmue 3. So they can reduce costs and use the same assets they've already created and just go from there. Okay. It'll be a lot more cost efficient than how they were doing it with Shenmue 1 and 2, where they had to build a brand new engine from scratch on hardware that was capable, but it was definitely pushing the limits of the Dreamcast at the time. So,
right.
I don't know. I definitely think it's going to be a thing. I think Shenmue 4 and 5 are definitely going to be made, and I think even Yu Suzuki said recently that he's ready. Like he wants to make them now. Like he's ready to do this thing. So. I mean, I think it's going to happen. The fans are there. Yu Suzuki's there. Everyone's on board. We just have to make sure Shenmue 3 sells enough to warrant a sequel financially. And I think it'll happen.
And that's really the mission, I think, that not only your channel has been doing with keeping up with the latest on Shenmue, but obviously this channel as well. I'm trying to push as much as possible. And even several of our chat members right now are also doing their thing to support the Shenmue community. So I want to thank everyone on the chat for not only participating in this live stream, but also doing your thing to support Shenmue. Special shout out to also James Reener. He did this video that I'm playing here. But to everyone that we've met in the community, I want to make sure that we keep this thing growing. And that we keep going from here. I mean, is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we go and wrap it up today?
That is a good question. Let me think about it. Shenmue 3 is going to be, and I mentioned this in my videos a lot, where I have my previous video where I talked about Destiny, which sounds kind of corny, but I think it was meant to happen this way. I think we are going to get the best possible version of Shenmue 3 is going to be coming out November 19th. I can't wait to play, and I think it's just going to be a new starting point for the series, where I think it will be the new foundation in which Shenmue 4 and 5 are built. I can't wait. It's going to be incredible. I'm not expecting, and just to kind of go off on a little tangent here, I'm not expecting it to be the greatest game in the history of the world. And that's what some people think that we think. As Shenmue fans, they think that we think this game is going to just be the greatest video game in the history of mankind. It's going to shatter all the records ever made by man. It's just going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
But it is. But it is.
In a sense, I mean, the fact that we get to continue and hopefully catch up with, well, we do catch up with Londi at some point because of the trailers, but we don't know what happens. Right. But the fact that we get to, it's almost surreal when you think about it, because after 19 years, after he murdered your father, 19 years in real life years, not in-game years, we finally get to catch up with your father's murderer. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, I was way younger then whenever he killed my father. And now I'm like friggin' old now, and but I get to continue. It's awesome. I can't wait. But yeah, keep the hype alive. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome. And to that respect, I also say the same thing. We need to keep the hype alive. I want to personally give my thanks to you for joining me on this live stream. It's a huge honor. We had this plan forever, and once again, apologies for it not working out yesterday, which was the original intention. But I think this was a fun time, and I hope that maybe sometime in the future you can join on a future stream, and then we can probably get a couple of things going. But
sounds good. I will be totally ready anytime.
But as always, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this Shenmue 3 live stream. Once again, special thanks to Oregon Pacifist. You can subscribe to his channel. I left a description below, and I'll re-upload this video so everyone can see it. And I'll have his channel linked. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Later.